Welcome back. I am Captain Crazy.
And I'm Princess.
And this is our RWBY review for Volume 4, Chapter 2.
After a long week.
Yeah, it was a very long week waiting for. And then we got a very character-driven episode.
This episode was also only 14 minutes, while the first episode was a lot longer.
I believe it was 22, 23 minutes roughly. That also includes the opening and credits. So really this episode only ends up being about 12 minutes. In that 12 minutes, not a lot of action, actually no action at all. Literally entirely story or character driven. We start off right where we left off in the first episode, first chapter. And we are seeing Weiss in her house, and she...
It's a big house.
Yes.
It's very big, very white, very clean. Some disturbing statues of, like, snakes biting each other. Other than that, just very...
That was actually a dual-headed snake.
It was a dual-headed snake?
So the tail was a head as well, so it was actually the same snake.
Still, it's attacking itself.
We also find out that she has a brother, whose name is Whitley.
Younger brother.
Yes, younger brother. So she is the middle child, with her talented older sister, Winter, and her younger brother, who is Whitley. I see a
theme with the names?
a W theme.
A W theme?
So she meets her brother, and he warns her that their father is yelling at somebody. The immediate response is, was it Mother?
Tells you a lot about that household. And what he responds to afterwards, like, no, she's already drinking in the garden.
Which tells you a lot.
A lot more. Not quite the happy household.
All miserable, and yeah, it's morning, and she's already out getting plastered by herself in the gardens. Wonder if there's a gardener around. No, Whitley says no, it was a man's voice, and he just thought that he would warn her, and that he has done a lot of growing up while she was at Beacon, because she commented that he wasn't quite the same as he used to be.
Seems a bit nicer, apparently, than what she's used to. Also, what I found was interesting is the color scheme of their outfits. They're both dressed in, like, pretty much the exact same color schemes, whereas before Weiss was in the white outfit that had, like, a little bit of red accent. Now she's in the gray, purpley gray, with a bit of blue that matches, again, exactly Whitley's outfits as well. So they're back at home, they have to dress the same now.
Yep. Dress however Daddy says so.
Mm-hmm.
And then so she then goes into her father's study and sees him arguing with one of the generals from the council.
James Ironwood.
About, I believe it was about dust embargoes, and they didn't exactly say what he was there for, but he wanted something from
Jacques.
From Jacques, yes. And from the Shmi Dust Company. And basically, Jacques went, well, you already cost me millions because you're not letting me sell to any other countries, so yeah, I'm not helping you. It's for the good of Atlas. No, it's for the good of you. Yeah. And then basically kicks him out after... Well, actually he decides to leave once Weiss gets there. And realizes that Weiss is there.
Well, it would be quite the cut to see all their profits if they can't trade with all the other countries. So you can understand why he's extremely pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
If you're told all of a sudden now your main source of income, just no. And the reason why is because they're afraid of war. So they're afraid that, I guess, that...
neighboring countries will then go to war with Atlas because...
Or possibly with the White Fang.
Yeah, and Atlas wasn't at the incidents for Vale, so they didn't come help. So therefore, they're viewed as non-helpful in the alliance, shall we say? So the way that Jacques decides to deal with this is to have a charity ball.
Charity ball.
Yeah.
Because he feels real sorry.
Yeah. Because he feels that it would be good for people to know that his daughter was at Beacon on the ground in the middle of the danger.
Fighting to protect it all.
And that they need to show the power of the Shmi family by having Weiss sing. Not that she wants to. She specifically asks, "Are you asking me to do this, or are you telling me?"
And he doesn't say specifically, but he just pretty much tells her that you're doing this.
I believe the exact words were, "I believe it would help a lot of people."
Mainly his pocketbook.
Yeah. And
Oh, the things companies do just to improve their images.
Yep. That's basically all we see of Weiss for this chapter.
And then as you see her leave, you see that lovely family photo. Or portrait.
Oh, we forgot about the butler too.
Oh, and the crazy butler.
So yeah, we see a family portrait of all of the Shmis.
And they all look miserable.
Yup.
Very sitting prim and proper, and then just very sour expressions on their faces. Just
Why the fuck do we have to do this?
yeah, pretty much.
And then we also meet the butler, who, for whatever reason...
His name is Klein.
Okay, Klein. Can change his eye color. Seemingly at will.
And with the eye color change, then the personality change and the voice change as well.
But was that an acting thing to try to...
Was the eyes part of it, though? Like,
I don't know.
his eyes change to red, and then orange... No, sorry,
They
red.
start orange.
They start orange?
They start orange or
Go to
yellowy.
red.
Then they go to red.
Then they go to blue.
Uh-huh.
And then back to orange.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when the eyes went red, he kind of went a little kooky, and it was funny-ish. And then when they went to blue, it was almost like he was sick. And then when he went back to his normal color of yellowy,
It's
red,
very kind
orange. Yeah, exactly. So it's unclear on whether or not the different emotions were just his act to try to make Weiss feel better, because he seemed to be specifically trying to make her laugh, or whether or not it actually has a connection to the eye color, that once his eyes change to that color, it automatically puts him into that emotional or state of mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's just a new aspect that we know nothing about, so they keep introducing new things, at least in the volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that eye colors are important, but so many unanswered questions so far.
Yep. We then cut to Ruby waking up with a start to the sound of Pyrrha's voice.
Do you believe in destiny?
And then it shows the Team Junior. I'm going to call them Team Junior.
Ranger!
Junior.
Ranger.
Junior.
Ranger! I gotta call them Ranger.
I'm going to call them Junior. So they're walking, and
trying to get to the next village.
Ruby is holding the map and is very, very lost. And
no sense of direction whatsoever.
Jan knows exactly where they are because his family was from this area, and he visited the next village that they would be in many times and showed where they went camping and where his sisters braided his hair. A bunch of other things.
Yep. He has 7 older sisters.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
So said Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they almost get to the village, and Nora and Ren discover that it's on fire and burning and in smoldering ruins.
Town is just completely destroyed, and they go automatically to start trying to find any survivors to see if they can provide any first aid treatment. They do come across one hunter, and he tells them that it was actually bandits. Bandits? Raiders?
Bandits.
Bandits. And because of the bandits and the despair that the people in the towns felt, that then attracted Grimm to it, and that just destroyed the entire village.
Yep. And while RWBY, Nora, and Jean are trying to figure out how they can help this guy who is clearly dying, wounded to the midsection, barely has the strength to hold his hand up to try to stop the bleeding, while they try to determine how they're going to get him to the next village, he then passes away, and they ask, should we bury him? To which Ren's reply is, no, we need to leave. It's not safe here.
I'm actually rather surprised at that. I don't know, like, I would think that Jean and RWBY would have stand up more for that to say, no, we need to bury him. Given their character, it seems...
They would need to bury every one of those townsfolk, and there was quite a few of them just before we even got to see that hunter. How many more? They could have been there for days just trying to bury these, and is it worth trying to bury that many people when all it takes is for those bandits or those Grimm to come back, and if it's something they can't handle, they're just causing more to the problem, right?
I'm just surprised there wasn't more of a debate. It was just Ren saying, okay, we gotta go now, and look sad, and then go. They're all growing up and know that they have to move on. Still sad.
We catch up with them a little bit further along, while RWBY wakes up again from a start.
Again, hearing Pierre's voice calling Jean's name.
And RWBY looks over, and Jean is not in his sleeping bag. Nora and Ren are, but Jean is not. RWBY wanders into the forest a little bit and finds Jean actually practicing with his sword to a recorded message from Pierre with training exercises. And it's one of those tug at your heartstring kind of moments.
So sad.
Yup. So it goes through a couple of forms, and then it basically has Pyrrha
wanting to express her love for Jean,
and just can't.
And she chickens out. Either that, or she decides maybe that she should do that in person, because it's probably something better to do in person. But she does tell him that, you know,
she cares for him a lot.
Yes.
And that's essentially how this chapter ends. Like I said at the beginning, no action at all.
But it's a tug at your heartstring episode.
Yeah, entirely character driven to the point where, yeah, it's, you get a little bit of insight of the Weiss family. You get a look at the harsh reality that Team Junior is discovering and facing, and you learn that Jean is still... Oh, yawn. It's yawn.
Jean.
Yawn.
Jean.
Is still very saddened by Pierre's death, and that she is still supporting him, even from the grave, essentially.
There's still that relationship.
Ooh, we forgot to mention that there was all those sparkly blue things leading to Jean.
The wisps that were actually probably like fireflies.
Yeah, but it literally led RWBY to Jean. So what are your thoughts on the episode?
Well, I find that it's a lot still darker tone than the previous volumes. Because again, you have the one guy who just dies in the street, and you know, haven't really had that in the previous volumes. Interesting insight into Weiss's family, but again, the episode leaves us with so many questions that are unanswered. We see nothing of the evil League of Evil, and we see nothing of this guy that had the green and orange eyes. So, and no Blake, and no Yang. Just leaves me with too many unanswered questions.
Who had green eyes?
Orange and green eyes. The farm boy.
Oh, the farm boy.
The farm boy.
Forgot about the farm boy. I know it was last week.
It's a long week. Apparently you forgot what happened. What are your thoughts?
Already gave my thoughts.
What are your closing remarks?
Tune in next week, because hopefully there's some bloody action. But honestly, it still went very quick, even without the action. I blinked and the episode was over. So at least they didn't drag it to a 30-minute episode or something with essentially nothing happening other than us learning a bit of backstory and a bit about how the world has progressed in this time of chaos, essentially. But yeah, hopefully next week we get a little bit of action in there. There will probably be a fight with Team Junior. We'll probably get a little bit more with Weiss and the whole banquet thing. And then we'll probably get a teaser right near the end showing Blake. And then the next episode will probably be very Blake-centric.
That's your hope.
That's my thoughts.
Your thoughts, yeah.
And my hypotheses. And last week I was right.
You were right.
I said it was going to be a Weiss-centric episode, and 90% of that episode was Weiss, so... Yes.
Any other hypothesis then that will come true?
Somebody else is going to die this season.
Somebody else just already died.
I said somebody else is still going to die.
Well, obviously they're already killing off strangers. Who do you think's going to die then?
Not sure. Winter's going to die. Saying it right now. Winter's going to die.
That's your theory?
That's my theory.
Okay. Based on absolutely nothing.
Yep. Just pulling shit out of my ass.
This is instinct. It's instinct.
Now you're just quoting Luffy. She doesn't even know what the quote's from.
Who says I'm quoting Luffy? It could be quoting other stuff.
No, she's quoting Luffy.
Anyways.
I am Captain Crazy.
And I'm Princess.
And we'll see you next week.